Hi guys, my name is Mark, and yeah, I'm kind of bored right now. So I'm gonna be talking about more Backrooms lore. I'm just gonna be yapping actually, yeah, about the Backrooms. Can I? Ooh, this is new. I'm playing Kenopsis. Okay. I think I've been here. So yeah. I'm gonna be mostly repeating on what I talked about yesterday, and I'm gonna be making my points a bit more clear. Yesterday they were a bit more vague. So, let's start with how does the Backrooms no clip things, and where does the Backrooms originate from? Or where does the Backrooms exist? Yeah. So I'm kinda sick still. I gone road biking yesterday and I kinda fractured my arm. It's probably just like it's just stiff arm or something like that. I can't move my right hand arm actually that much, but I can move my fingers well. I've been in this mall. So null zones, they allow objects, anything to actually phase through them. They vary in existence. Some, I believe, could disappear as fast as they can reappear. And others, they can be stable. I believe an object no clips when I don't know if it's just kinetic energy, it could be other forms of stored energy, but mainly kinetic energy would be transferred from that object to the complex through null zones. Null zones, I believe, are parts of the backrooms where the ooh, I believe some parts of the backrooms have I don't know how to connect this with magnetism, but I believe some parts of the backrooms store less kinetic energy, or at least a store of maybe a variable amount of energy. And due to this, um, it can transfer kinetic energy to objects in real life. Of course, my theory goes that the backrooms does exist in real life, at least in Kane Parsons' series. Yeah, due to this, no clipping. Oh, that's that weird thing. But due to this, this allows objects to enter the backrooms. Because now the kinetic store of the backrooms, which allows it to phase through things, is now being transferred to those objects. And now you're wondering, like, what do you mean the backroom stores kinetic energy? And here's my other theory on what the backrooms could be. I'm trying to bring into a physical sense, like I'm trying to apply some physics into this, but I believe that the backrooms is not a different dimension. Of course, the whole copying thing and pasting thing could say otherwise. It's not determined what caused that phenomenon, but for the entire backrooms, I believe that this entire space is just a high energy area. Ooh, we've been here already. I want to explore this again actually, but I believe that the backrooms is a high energy space which exists in our plane of reality, which is just 3-dimensional? Nah, it's more like 4-dimensional. I believe we exist in a 4-dimensional space. We do travel through time as well. We cannot control how we travel through time, but yeah. Oh god. Sorry, I'm still sick. But yeah, the Backrooms exists in our reality. What I mean by that, it's like it's literally on Earth. And how does it exist without anyone noticing it ever existed? I believe that the Backrooms is a high energy space, mainly because of how Ivan Beck along with Async, like how much energy they needed to open it, right? They needed a lot of energy because the Backrooms is a space which vibrates a lot. Or at least all of the molecules in it vibrate at a constant frequency, which allows them to somewhat phase through other particles in Earth, even light. It's very theoretical, but with some studies, I believe that if an object has enough energy stored, then it can phase through other objects. Like a wave. If a wave has, I believe, if a wave has a high enough of a frequency, or no, it's more of like amplitude. I don't know, it's like, maybe, I don't know, it's probably like a combination of amplitude and frequency. If a wave has a big enough of an amplitude along with a frequency, I believe it can phase through other things. And I believe that the Backrooms exists as a space within Earth, which has its molecules vibrating very, like, in a high quantity. Like, it vibrates so much that it can literally phase through objects in Earth. Of course, that stored energy could not be equal, but I believe that the initial creation of the Backrooms, like the configuration of the initial, like the initial configuration of the Backrooms when Ivan Beck first somehow created it, I believe that it was somewhat stable. I believe that all the kinetic energy stored in it stayed even throughout the entire complex until Async reopened it. And I believe due to this, due to the amount of energy they poured into opening it, and due to the energy needed to keep it open, I believe that this has caused some sort of uneven transfer of energy stored in the Backrooms. In result, some parts of the Backrooms has more energy than other parts, and due to this, null zones are starting to appear everywhere else. It's like a ripple effect. Like low pressure areas or areas with less energy allow null zones to be open, as objects can now interact with those null zones. Of course, those parts are still high in energy, so they could return to a constant amount of energy, which will make them disappear from objects which are not high in energy. Of course, the Backrooms does still have to have a high amount of energy, so yeah, I think that that's how null zones and how the Backrooms exists. I don't think it exists in a different. It's not in a different pocket dimension or something. Of course, I think that I don't know what Beck was doing still, but he was probably playing around with particle accelerators. They do need a lot of. They do. Like, what do you call this? For all I know, while he was doing a particle acceleration test or something like that, a solar flare occurred. Yeah, judging by the overflow video, I think ooh, I think sorry, I think that a solar flare occurred, and I don't know what to say about that. Either that I'll just stop here. Yeah, it provided maybe a lot of energy. Yeah, it probably provided a lot of energy, but I do not know what type of energy it transferred, babe. But of course, oh god, what is that? Okay. Like, I believe that... Actually, I believe that async needed... Wait, hold up. What the hell? Okay, sorry, I'm kinda drifting off my brainstorming here, but what the hell is this? I don't like that. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue. Now I'm thinking that I think that async didn't need that amount of energy to access the backrooms by making the space vibrate a lot. Since the machine was called the magnetic distortion system, I believe that they used very powerful magnets to actually keep parts of the backrooms in place so they can actually access it. It's like a resting hook or something. Async needed a lot of energy so they can induce a magnetic field, very powerful enough in fact to arrest, to keep the backrooms stable, because usually the backrooms has a high amount of vibration, right? And the backrooms has a lot of, what do you call this, relation with magnetic fields. Like it maybe just maybe async used a very powerful magnet, or some sort of magnet. They induced a magnetic field, and doing so allowed them to harness the backrooms. Of course, that magnetic field had to be very powerful because the backrooms is a high energy space, and you would need a very powerful magnet, I believe, to at least keep the backrooms or harness a space of the backroom so that you can access it. I don't know where. I don't know what I was talking about, but it's very interesting now. Yeah, I had to say that. So, I don't have any device in front of me. I'm just thinking. It's kind of reckless of me, but yeah. So now I know this. The backrooms could be a. It's just a theory, though. So take my word with a grain of salt. The backrooms could be a high energy space. The backrooms. Yeah, the backrooms could be a high energy space, null zones. Could be fluctuations in stored energy. What I mean by that is like kinetic energy, which means that other objects can enter the backrooms by at least storing kinetic energy stored from the backrooms, which allows them to vibrate at the same frequency as the backrooms, which does make them phased from reality but allows them to enter the backrooms. And I believe that async used very powerful async used very powerful magnets to at least sustain a null zone, which allowed one part of the backrooms to stay stable. I don't think they needed to like keep that magnet on or something like that, or like the magnetic field they used to access the backrooms. They didn't need to keep it on, like they didn't need to continually induce a magnetic field in order to access the backrooms, because they would need to constantly supply with amounts of energy. So somehow they managed to keep a door open into the backrooms. And oh god, what is this? And in doing so, it created the backroom started to have unstable parts, or parts with an unequal amount of kinetic energy stored. In result, that caused a ripple effect, which made some parts of the backrooms low in energy and some parts high, though probably those low energy parts created null zones. And yeah, that's my belief on what the backrooms probably is. And yeah, okay. Anyways, okay. Now let's talk about Peter Tench. Yeah, that boy's story is crazy, man. Yeah, it's very sad how he died in a car crash in a vineyard. That's very sad. I heard he had a family. Okay, now let's talk about what do we talk about now? I did. Let's push that chair down. Let's go in this. Oh god. Okay. So yeah. Oh yeah. Altitude discrepancies. that could contradict my theory, so I should probably cover that too. They could like altitude discrepancies could occur when an object transfers back to the frequency of reality. Like when an object transfers kinetic energy back to like maybe about near zero, something like that. It's basically when an when an object phases back to reality. Yeah. Yeah, when an object phases back to reality, I believe that it could have some displacement from its original place or like area. Because the backrooms is a high energy space, right? So in result, some parts of the backrooms could exist be like in different altitudes that do not correspond with real life. Because the backrooms is essentially just the backrooms is a high energy space, so some parts of it could be displaced by a lot. You can end up very high in the air or very down underground, etc. Due to the fact that when you clip out of the backrooms, the entire complex is vibrating by a lot, right? So when you return to reality, you're vibrating a lot, and when you transfer that kinetic energy, I don't know where you transfer it, either to reality, no, it's more like into the backrooms, back into the backrooms. You probably will have a huge amount of displacement, and in result of that, you can end up anywhere in altitude as well as in time. I forgot to mention about time. I should enter that dark space, by the way. But time is also a huge thing to consider. In order to time to literally distort in crazy amounts to where you will end up like Peter Tench, where you literally time forward it by a lot, I believe that when some null zones I believe like time warping occurs when you end up in those higher energy parts of the backrooms. There could be some parts where the backrooms ends up storing a lot of stored energy, where you would probably time dilation. I do not know how it works, but it could work something like time dilation. An object would be moving very fast, in fact, more of like vibrating very fast. And if you move faster than the speed of light, time becomes weird, right? I still don't know much about time. This is very theoretical actually, but what if when you're moving very fast, or at least encounter one of those high energy parts of the backrooms, what if you start warping through time? Yeah, like what Peter Tench experienced. If you vibrate very fast in, like, maybe Peter Tench, when he got to that null zone, which had people talking through it, when he saw that part, that null zone, maybe a huge energy fluctuation or transfer of energy. Maybe it transferred to where Peter Tench wasn't, which in result caused him and that area to vibrate by a lot, and that induced some time dilation of some sort. Keep in mind that this is just my second year of physics. Due to that, we're back here. Due to that, he skipped time by a lot, right? There could be a multitude of reasons why, but it could be that null zone. He was skipped forward back to that. He was skipped forward in time due to time dilation. As I said, I don't know why, but I keep on repeating my points. I'm very bad at speaking. Due to that, the vibration was probably very fast. It caused some time dilation. Keep in mind that the Backrooms has a high amount of energy stored. I already said that. But yeah. So that's me covering time dilation and altitude discrepancies, which could have contradicted my point on the Backrooms being a high energy space that exists in our plane of reality. Of course, there are more amazing theories on this, but I believe that this is a good take on my theory in the Backrooms. Oh god, what is... okay. That scared me. But yeah, that's my theory on the Backrooms. So, yeah. I don't know what else I should say here, but like and subscribe. Yeah. Like and subscribe. This is probably going to be my last Backrooms theory. Of course, I keep on saying this is my last Backrooms theory, but I'm always bored. It's summer break, and I injured my arm. I was planning to paper model, actually. But I wasn't able to because I kind of injured my arm, and I don't want to touch my precious creations with an injured arm. I could flinch and literally crush them accidentally. They're that fragile. But I did make them with 200 GMS paper. I was supposed to use cardstock, but the shop near me didn't have that. So yeah, I'm content with what I have though. I'm already making ship 40. I like to mention that. What is this? Oh, it's just light. Okay. Yeah. I'll probably make a... yeah, no, I'm not only gonna make a blog, I'm also probably gonna be making... no, I mean, I'm probably not gonna only make a showcase of my paper models. I'm probably gonna also make a blog of my dirt bike, my road bike, like my dirt biking. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so before I end this Backrooms theory video, I would like to disclose on what happened to my KSP series. I am going to make episode 9 now. After this, I have KSP on. I'm probably going to be at least testing and designing one of the first missions. It's going to be a lunar rideshare mission. But it's going to have one US lander and one Japanese lander this time. This might spoil a lot, but I'm planning to have like one of those landers, or maybe both of them. I'm planning to maybe have both of those landers have a lunar rover. Yeah. And also, I'm gonna post my... I'm gonna also make a new KSP forum about my series. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So yeah, thank you for watching my Backrooms theory video. expect more KSB content from me. I kinda took a break from it, but yeah, like and subscribe. I'll probably post more of these backroom theories videos. So yeah, bye guys.